sa pagbuo ng mga pangarap na ninanais na makamit ito ng labis-labis. Tanging puhunan ay dedikasyon, maging halimbawa, maging inspirasyon. Ang uno ay naging gabay sa iba upang mapasa kamayang mithiin nila. Isang dekada patuloy na tumutulong, hindi kami aatras, mananatiling sumusulong sa pag-usbong ng makabagong henerasyon. Pagtupad ang mga pangarap, ito pa rin aming misyon. Malalim na ang pundasyon, 10 taon na matatag, konkreto na aming pader, kaya't hindi mabubuwag. Ang tanging hangarin ay mabago ang iyong buhay at mapaligaya ang iyong mahal sa buhay.
Mula noon hanggang ngayon, numero unong negosyo ng bayan. Mula noon hanggang ngayon, nagagapay ng sambayanan para sa ating tagumpay. Mula noon hanggang ngayon, tamang daan patungo sa mga pangarap. Mula noon hanggang ngayon, patuloy ang pagbabago para sa magandang kinabukasan.
Mula noon hanggang ngayon, tuloy-tuloy ang paniniwala, magtiwala sa uno at sa sarili, maniwala ang lahat na nasa puso'y mapapasa kamay. Buo na ang sistema, tumawid sa aming tulay. Ang pagdududa ay pagdudahan mo rin. Malay mo, malay ko, makukuha mo rin. Sa uno'y ika'y mapapagod, ay pahinga mo lang. Dito ika'y magugutom, ikain mo lang. Ngunit pag di ka kumilo sa kalagayan mo, mahirap ka ngayon, ganyan ka pa rin pagising mo. Ang buhay ay masukal na guba, yan ang kwento. Ngunit ito ang simula ng iyong pag-asenso. Walang bayanin, hindi nasusulatan, kaya ang iyong pangarap dapat pinaglalaban. Wala nang suwan, matira na ang mayaman. Loyalty is the key para magkaalaman.
Mula noon hanggang ngayon, numero unong negosyo ng bayan. Mula noon hanggang ngayon, gagapay ng sambayanan para sa ating tagumpay. Mula noon hanggang ngayon, tamang daan patungo sa mga pangarap. Mula noon hanggang ngayon, patuloy ang pagbabago para sa magandang kinabukasan. Mula noon hanggang ngayon, uno. Mula noon hanggang ngayon, uno. Mula noon hanggang ngayon.
Hi, good morning. Kumusta kayo? We're back na naman po. We're going to have a discussion mga importanteng health awareness and concerns. So, kumusta po kayo? I remembered last time, maganda din po ang naging topic natin. Exciting din po, just like now. Last time, I believe we talk about sleep. Sana po with that so-called lecture, nag-improve po ang ating quality ng sleep at quantity ng sleep. Of course, na-discuss natin yan at ano ang effect nito sa ating health. Okay? So, again, pardon me, I have to look at the phone while I'm talking. Tapos, pwede kong, just like before, can you please say hi? Pakikuhan po dito, hi. Titignan ko kung gaano katagal. Uli, yung gap natin dito from my record, live, FB Live, to your response pagdating po sa inyo. Can you please say hi? Tignan ko nga po. So, it's about, nakita ko yung oras. Okay. While you're doing that, mag-hi muna po ako. Sinong abutan ko po dito? Yan, there you go. Si Up Leo Miday. Hi. Thank you po. At saka si magaling LBNA member natin, si Up Buena Dienso from Nueva Ecija. Of course, si Up Jos Rigoyer. Thank you po. There you go. Nako, sunod-sunod na. Hi, Up Princess Lay Mateo. Up Therese Humuad. Wow, very good. Thank you, thank you. Up May Libardo. Magaling na LBNA member natin to. Hi, Up Elma Sornes. Up Rami Asura. Siyempre si Up Lalaine Abaha. Consistent po talaga to. Ay, siyempre ang ating master coach. At saka talaga I look up to. Hi, Up Willard. Good morning po. Sige. Pardon me, kasi my talk is always actually 3 to 4. Ganun po talaga. That's my scheduled talk. But as you can see, kahit previously, hindi lang 3 to 4, 3 to more. So more than the 4 o'clock nagsumosobra. Now, pardon me because I have a another group na dito rin po sa atin, but another commitment that by around 4 or so, meron din po akong sharing na gagawin po. So with that, gusto ko na po mag-start. Okay? So, paki-type nga ready. Tignan ko nga. Ready. Paki-type nga ready. Sinong ready na dito? Because our topic is quite interesting. This is one of the topic that is always being asked. Parang may mga nagtatanong dito. From time and time again, ito ang mga common na topic. Wow, ang dami po. Ang dami po ninyo. How I wish I could read them one by one. No? Wow, sige nga. Who's ready? Go. Who said they're ready? Aha, ready kagad si Up Erickson Sulweta. Thank you very much, ha. Siyempre, wow. Pati ba naman si Master Willard. Thank you po. Thank you po. So, good morning po. Team Entrepreneurs of Dasmariñas, Cavite. Meron po dito. Ready din po si Up Elma, si Up Sherlyn Pescadero, siyempre si Up Josephine Abaha. Laging ready yan. Up Lalaine Abaha, Up Annabel Mantile. Ready, ang daming ready. Okay, very good. Nakikita ko yung gap very, very short lang. So, I'm very excited. So, if you won't mind, mag-start na po ako. Let's have this learning. Ito po again, perspective-wise, gusto ko makita another perspective. May emphasize ako dito. All for good health. All for awareness. And again, we're doing this in order to share. All the knowledge comes from him. No? Tapos, I have to recognize, of course, yung mga authors, yung mga gumawa ng articles or research. So, I salute you. Salamat po sa inyo. So, again, I'll go back before I do start, yung 5 strategies ulit natin. Ano? The first one, boost your immune system. The second one, kasi naayon talaga how do you call that, with this pandemic, itong 5 strategy natin po, or strategies for that matter, ayos na ayos po, pasok na pasok. And we've been hearing different, should I say, studies about this pandemic. At medyo, at the end of the day, ito lang masasabi ko, at the end of the day, what we have is our immune system lang talaga. Even yung mga experts natin, which we salute, no? Medyo they have different, I should say, different studies, different perspective. But what is the same is our health. Kaya nga, andito tayo. So, the second one is, of course, to manage your comorbid diseases or illnesses. Ginagawa na po natin. In fact, ang ginagawa ko po, dinidiscuss ko na po yung mga comorbid diseases. Kasi kahit sa studies po, makikita nila ang effect, the high-risk situation of those with comorbid diseases. The third one is the oxidants or antioxidants for that matter. And of course, dito po sa atin, we emphasize the so-called healthy gut. And marami na rin po mga pag-aaral, nakikita nila the effect of so-called, psychological or how we manage stress. So, solid tayo sa 5 yan, ha? Tandaan po natin. Sige, I have to start na po. Gusto ko po basahin, isa-isahin yung mga kuan ninyo, mga greet sa akin. Maraming salamat po. I do hope you see the title. The title is Are You a Stone Former? Stone Former. Yun pang title niyan. Bakit kaya yan ang napili kong topic? Well, first and foremost, sabi ko nga po, I've been consistently, kahit nga po on or off FB Live. Kasi minsan po, sa FB Live, obviously may magtatanong. Sa pag wala naman po akong FB Live, in my own, may magtatanong po dito sa messenger ko. And one of the conditions or disease that they are concerned ay itong sinasabi natin stone sa katawan natin. Okay. Now, these words na stone former. Okay? Maiintindihan natin yan later. In fact, previously, very cautious ako to use the word stone former. Kasi pag tinitignan po natin, pag tinanong po natin yung, for example, if somebody's sharing their condition sa inyo, one probably of the so-called question that you're gonna ask is, sa pamilya niyo po ba? Ang tatay niyo po ba? Nanay niyo po ba? May ganitong sakit. So, parang family history. So, isa ito sa mga itatanong natin. Okay. Sige, continue po ako ha. Okay. Yan. As you can see in here, there is a so-called anatomy, no? A sketch of a human body. But more than that, here is my question. Ito pong katanungan ko. At sana mas ma-excite din po kayo. Kung na-excite kayo nung una, you found rather the lecture practical, na ayon at may impact sa inyo. Gusto ko rin po ito magkaroon ng impact kasi may mga isisingit po ako dyan, mga pag-aaral at articles. Okay, question po. In our body, okay, ayusin ko lang po. In our body, where can stones form or develop in your body? Yun ang katanungan ko doon. Sa katawan po natin, saan po pwede mag-form or develop ng stones? Yan. Gusto ko, pakikuha naman po, paki-PM po sa akin, dito sa chat natin. Tell me what part of the body where stones can develop or form. Come on. Sige nga po. Thank you po. Ay, ang dami oh. Ang bilis. Thank you very much. Sige nga po. So while I'm awaiting, because there's a certain gap, so i-greet ko lang po, ano? Hi up Nestle Baldilobar. Hi up Felix Malugyo. Up Dresny Vendor. And hi up Ronaline Ranyon. Ito po yung naabutan ko dito when I look up. My apologies. Of course, up Nini Ranyon. Nini Basilan, I'm sorry. Gumanon kasi. Oh, somebody answered. Sila up Annabel Mantile, up May Libardo, up Leo Miday, up Josephine Abaha. They all answered kidney. Correct yun. Question, saan pa kaya maliban sa kidney? Or meron ba? Sa kidney lang ba? Hi up Raisa Malate. Ito, si up Princess Lay Mateo. Kidneys, gallbladder po. Very good. Dalawa ang sagot niya. Siyempre si up Josephine Abaha, gallbladder. Correct po. Ang galing. Hi up Norman Francisco. Sabi ni up Elma Sores, Adors Dapiton. Kidney ang sagot nila. Okay. Si up Nini Basilan, kidney and liver. Okay. Watching from Batangas itong si up Norman Francisco. And he answered, Maria Emma Francisco Española. Kidney din ang sagot. Hi, up Nestle Bilobar. Okay, there you go. Kidney, wow. Hi, up J. Almares. Almares, tama. Nakalagay, Almares. Up Sheila May Silvano, hello. Up Jeretcha Alag Rogelio. He answered, gallbladder. Very good. More earnings pa daw, sabi ni up Sheila Silvano. Very good. Si up Romeo, syempre, galing sa Parañaque City, magaling na LBNA member po natin to. Hi, Idol Floor, Jean Porones. Si Sir Ed Abaha. Thank you, sir. Very consistent po sila. Okay, may habol lang ako. May nakita kasi po akong different answer. Si up Nini Basilan. She answered pancreas. Sige, tignan nga natin later kung tama mga sagot nila. Okay, sige. Para to go directly to the topic. So, bibitinin ko kayo ng konti. Ang katanungan dito, saan sa katawan natin pwedeng mag-form or develop ang stone or stones? Okay, ang dami ng mga sinagot ninyo po. Very good. Next, mga terms muna. Calculus, singular form yan. Plural form is the calculi. It is often called stones. Parehas lang pala yun. This is a concretion. Anong concretion? Parang nag-accumulate, namuo of material, usually mineral salts. Ano mga mineral salts? One of the more common is the calcium. And that forms in an organ or duct of the body. So, tandaan niyo po ha, pag sinabing calculus, stone, they mean same. Okay? Again, tignan natin. So, may mga terms tayong ini-introduce. What else? Therefore, when there is a formation of calculi, it is known as lithiasis. Stones can cause a number of medical conditions. So kaya nga po, papapansin niyo, pag may stone formation sa kidney, ano po yun? Pwedeng urolithiasis. Diba? Narinig na po ninyo? You just attach the word lithiasis because it has something to do with the formation of calculi or stones. Okay? How about yung sa gallbladder? Ano pong tawag natin doon? Cholelithiasis. Diba? Has something to do with the gallbladder. And so on and so forth. Okay? Ganun po yun. That's how medical terms are. Kaya nga, minsan may mas mahaba pa nga po dyan eh. Kaya minsan, pag nagsusulat po kami, naku, ang haba dito. But actually, the clue or clues for the term ay nandyan mismo. Dito mismo sa word. Siyempre, kung alam mo ang background. Okay? So, what else? I want you to look at this one. And I would like to put an emphasis on this one. No? Dadandahanin ko pagbasa nito ha. Normal or abnormal crystals can form within the kidneys as urine is being made and may group together to form kidney stones or calculi. So these crystals, both, emphasize ko ha, normal and abnormal. Why? Do we have a normal crystals? Yes. Do we have an abnormal crystals? Yes, in certain conditions. Pag ito ay nag-form, ito ay group together, it will form into stone or calculi. They start with crystals. But when they form together, both the normal or the abnormal, they can present as stone. Dagdagan ko lang po, these stones become lodged in the kidney itself or in the ureters, the tubes that pass the urine from kidney to the bladder, causing extreme pain. Okay, now, itong topic ko na ito, I would like to limit, to focus more on the kidney stones. Okay, formation of stones in the kidney or urinary system. Kasi meron pa po itong ibang stones, yung na-mention nga po ninyo. Gusto ko, gawin ko itong series. So ito, a little focus muna tayo dito. Pag-focus natin dito, tignan natin magandang perspective, how it will help us. How such perspective would help us to be better, to be healthy. No? Yun ang ating purpose. Okay, so dahil dito sa stones nito in the kidney system or urinary system, it can cause extreme pain. Masakit po. So, may I know at this point, sino po kaya sa inyo? Of course, I cannot see, but do you happen to have kidney stone? Na-diagnose na po ba kayo ng doctor na meron kayong urolithiasis or kidney stones? O kaya naman while you were urinating, no? May lumabas po dun na bato. Have you heard of that experience or kayo po mismo may ganun na po na experience? Okay? Because one of the symptoms in here really is pain. Talagang masakit yan. Imagine, if you have seen, no, sa some literature, they would show pictures, makikita nila na mas malaki pa nga po sa daanan po ng, or almost about the size ng daanan ng ihi. Or kung doon naman po sa bladder, malaki din po. Diba? Oh, napatingin lang ako dito ha. So sabi ni, hi Abdayan, general ito ha, hi Abdayan, Team Legendaries. Thank you ha, Abdayan Kauli. Watching from Mindanao, Apsala Rudy. Sabi ni Apleo Miday. Ako, naka-experience na pala po si Apleo. At sobrang sakit daw, sabi ni Apteris Jumowad. That's why, tama po. It's a really extreme pain. So, very good. Dito sa LBNA, they are saying that madaming clients na may kidney stones. So, natutuwa ako kasi ang topic na ito, appropriate at saka I believe makakatulong po. Okay? So, sabi yan ni Ap Maria Rowena. Thank you. Yes, sabi ni Ap Nini Basilan, 2018 po I experienced na po. Naranasan din po ni Ap Emma Española. Can you imagine? Mismo partners natin dito, they have this problem. So, ngayon po, may mga, I should say, mga things that that is said, no? Things that are said na totoo at hindi totoo. So aayusin natin to base sa mga pag-aaral. So again, thanks to the authors, the different authors. I salute you. Sige, naku, daming dito. Meron nga po dito, I might as well read this one, ano? Sabi ni Apteris Jumowa, na-experience ko po sobrang sakit, binigyan akong gamot yung antibiotic po, injection po, wow. Masakit na nga po yung experience ni Apteris dun sa the kidney stone itself, ano? Eto pa, may mga injectable pa po. Lumiit, sabi ni Apsa Avedra Ivalor, lumiit po yung gallstone ko from 1.3 to 1.08. That is significant. Nag-umpisa lang po, di po ba tataas sugar ko sa repolyo? Nag-umpisa kaya lang po, di po ba tataas sugar ko? Sagutin ko po yan. Hi, Fred Valiant. Thank you, sir. Wow. At gusto ko dun sinabi ni Apwen, I have to read this one. At madami na din pong nagamot through our cleansing protocol. Kaya nga po, pansinin niyo po, ever since when I started doing this one, I always emphasize not include cleansing in all those conditions. In all those conditions. Okay, because you're helping the body to do so. Okay? Ang katawan natin, meron pong kaparaanan to clean. There is so-called balance. Okay, sige, para di ko na kayo mabitin masyado. I'm gonna show you this one. So, may picture po dito. Makikita ninyo kung saan common makikita or possibilities na location sa katawan natin makikita ang stone. Obviously, na-mention na po ninyo kanina, we mentioned about the kidney. There you go. There's a stone in here, nakalodge, and here's the problem. Pag produce ng urine, ng kidney, it is supposed to pass in this tube. Anong tawag sa tube na to? Ureter. Of course, this paired organ. Okay. In this case, merong obstruction. Pag may obstruction, it has really a health effect sa katawan natin. So, where else pa po? Dito ako magpo-focus sa discussion, ha? Where else pa po? Ito probably next time po. I'm gonna discuss about this one kasi isa rin po ito sa mga tinatanong. So, in this case, you would see the gallbladder. So, this is the gallbladder. And in here, there is a duct. Okay, may duct. Okay, parang tube. Okay. Pwede po mag-develop o mag-form ng stone dito sa gallbladder. At ito rin po, pwede rin po mag-form dito sa duct. Yan, pwede rin po mag-form dyan. And such would lead to, of course, sinasabi natin kanina, pain, at higit sa lahat po, it can cause obstruction. Pag mayroon obstruction, what will happen? The fluid na kailangan po na may move out, hindi na move out because of the partial or complete obstruction. So may effect din po yan. Saan pa po sa katawan natin? Since that's my question. Well, na-mention ko na ito. Look at this one. You have here in the kidney, you have here in the ureter. Ito po, ureter po yan. Then, pag-produce ng ihi dito, it would pass by sa ureter and go to the storage of urine. Storage, ha? The production is in the kidney, but the storage is here in the bladder. It's a muscle, okay? So, dyan po na i-store. And that bladder is not exempted from the development of stone. In fact, in my practice, no? Naalala ko po noon, everybody do like this, yung fist ninyo. Ganun niyo po yung kamay ninyo. Okay? So, ganun niyo po yung kamay ninyo. Can you imagine one stone inside the bladder, and it is about the size of your fist? Can you imagine that brother? Kung paano na-develop yan? Okay? So, many times, so magagaling dito yung mga surgeons at of course, urologists natin. Salute to them. So, alam na alam nila ito. So, nakita din po namin sa practice namin. Can you imagine that? Now, saan pa po pwede mag-develop? Sa mga lalaki, so, syempre, na-emphasize ko, sa mga lalaki, pwede rin po mag-develop ng stone sa prostate. Yan. There you go. I have here a illustration of the prostate. Syempre, thanks sa internet, we can download para sa sharing purposes, educational purposes. So makikita ninyo, this portion is the prostate, the bladder, just like here. And there's a tube. This time it's called urethra. Yan, that's urethra. So dito sa taas, from kidney, ureter, bladder, then urethra. Lalabas na po dito as yung ihi. Okay, sa environment or kung saan man po magpipi kayo. Okay, so saan po ang prostate? Ang prostate po naka-enclose po dito sa urethra. Okay? So, kung ito po ang tube ng urethra, andyan po siya, naka-enclose. That is why, especially in elderly, ito magiging topic ko rin to next time. Pag nag-grow, nag-enlargement po ang prostate, tignan niyo po ang lumen as compared to here, no? Dito, at least makakalabas po ang ihi, ang urine. But in here, you would see a obstruction. That is why one of the manifestation ng somebody with enlarged prostate, especially in our elderly, yung difficulty pag-ihi. Aside from the pain, no? Yung difficulty pag-ihi. Because of this one. Hindi mailabas totally because of a partial and worse. Hopefully, hindi naman total obstruction. Kasi kung total obstruction, iba na po ang management. So, aside from the kidney, aside from the prostate, saan pa po pwede mag-form ng stone? In here po, you would see, this is actually downloaded lang po ito, but this is just to orient you. This is the tongue, this is the teeth. Obviously, you see a whitish area in here. So, there is a formation of stone dun po sa mouth, even sa kung tawagin nating salivary area or dito sa mga tonsils. Yan, sa area na yan. Okay? Lahat tayo may tonsils, by the way. No? So sometimes if you would say, Doc, pag nagpa-consulta, Doc, may tonsils ako. So kami naman na doctor, masaya, very good, may tonsils ka. Mahirap na, Doc, wala po akong tonsils. Okay. So anyway, kuwan lang naman yan. That's how yung iba, no? Iba ang concept na we have all tonsils. The problem in here, if it has inflammation, if it is congested, if there is a infection, and worse, if there's cancer obstruction to that matter, yun ang problema. Now, dito makikita natin na pwede rin pala on this location sa mouth, salivary gland, or the tonsils na area, pwede po mag-develop ng ito nga po, stone. I don't know if you have heard of this one. Is this the first time? Or you have heard of cases na may ganun? Kasi kung ito po medyo nagulat po kayo, what if I show you this picture? I don't know if you could orient with this picture, but this is looking at the bottom of the nose. Ilong po yan. So, may speculum po, ginanon po yung ilong para mas siguro ma-picturean, ma-photo rather. Picture ito rin nasabi, ma-photo. So, thanks to the author nito sa internet. So, pinakita po dito sa loob, there is a formation of stone. Can you imagine? Inside the nose. Have you heard of this one? Meron po. Okay? Okay. Sige. So, those are the conditions na commonly or unusual na mga location. Okay? Sige. Remember, so I have in here sa baba, usually yan ang source ko. So, this is how I do it. I always recognize kung saan ko galing ito na nakuha, no? For our learning. Stones occur in several parts of the human body. Sabi nga natin, it can be in the kidneys, bladder, prostate, gland, na-mention natin kanina, gallbladder, salivary glands, at kanina may sumagot, pancreas, tama po kayo. Although not regarded as life-threatening, they can be a source of considerable pain and discomfort. Actually, dito sa, this information ay importante po. At least alam na po natin na hindi lang pala yung kidney, Hindi lang pala yung gallbladder, yung mga sinagot natin, it can occur on other parts of the body. Now, I would like to clarify, to add up to the last statement, that it can be a source of considerable pain and discomfort. While it's true, looking at the example of kidney, for example, meron pong stone doon, hindi lang pain or discomfort ang magkaka-problem tayo doon. In fact, if there is a considerable amount of obstruction, if not complete obstruction, medyo may problema po yun. Baka pa nga po yan ay maging surgical emergency. Kasi kung hindi po maayos yan, it can lead to other problems. So, pwede magka-kidney. Eventually, kidney failure. So, hindi maganda yun because of that stone. It led to that kind of path of issue. So, may stages naman po yun. Okay, reminder. Okay, gusto ko isipin ninyo ito because I know at this point, you are all, well, sitting down, iba magtatrabaho siguro, iba nakikinig, may pinakikinig ng iba, pero nagpapasalamat ako kasi abay nakikinig din sa akin, sa sinishare ko po. But think about this. At this point, probably you're saying, so may kakilala akong stone former, o kaya naman kayo mismo ay nagkaroon ng stone, nakaranas po nun. But do you know that at this point, habang nakaupo po kayo or nakikinig sa akin, you are forming stones or crystals in your urinary system. Ngayon na ngayon po, meron po kayong napo-form na crystals or stones. Okay. So, it's like saying, teka, tama ba Ric Cordero ang narinig ko? So, lahat tayo napo-form ng stones or crystals. I-qualify natin ang statement. What if I tell you, yes, we are all forming crystals. Okay? Eventually, kung magiging stones, that's another story, depending on the condition, but we are forming crystals. Okay? Normal, ano sabi natin? Normal and abnormal crystals, pag nag-accumulate, it will become stones or calculi. Okay. So, good knowledge yan, ha? Kasi, yung formation ng stone or better crystals, ang gamitin ko, part yan ng ating physiological function. Now, it is very dependent, of course, sabi ko, nasa function natin, and even on our diet, on what we're doing, the medications that you're taking, even the juice, meron po yan, makikita crystals or formation of crystals. So technically, yes, we are forming crystals even at this moment. Okay, so yun, nagulat po sila. Oh. Okay, hi, Up Denison, Tori Chiba, gathering of our humanitarian healthcare. That's good, that's good. Sige, so, I don't know kung nagulat po kayo, but indeed, you are forming stones or better rich crystals. Now, in the formation of stone sa ating katawan, sa urine, we're talking about the kidney system, meron po yan, ayon sa pag-aaral, may dalawang klase po yan. Or nagbabalance yan. There is such thing as stone promoters. Ito yung you will form stone. On the other hand, may mga factors din po sa katawan natin mismo na natural ang iba nito, ha? Natural actually. Naturally occurring na stone inhibitor. So, in our body, mapapansin ninyo, it is really designed based on the so-called balance. No? Pag sumobra yung isa, magkakaroon ng stone formation. Pag sumobra naman yung isa, another naman na condition. So there got to be a so-called balance. So this is very important. I hope itong sinishare ko sa inyo, I don't know kung first time o na-read na po ninyo, but again, the bottom line in here is that there is a so-called balance. Let me read. Under normal circumstances, there is a balance of urinary stone promoters and inhibitors, leading to, look at the word, painless elimination from kidney of tiny crystals. So, sabi ko nga po sa inyo, nagpo-form po tayo ng crystals at this point. Since may balance po ang katawan natin sa stone formation at saka inhibitor, walang problema po. Naiihi lang po natin. In fact, during our examination sa laboratory, makikita namin yan under microscope. Crystals will flow with urine through the ureters and bladder without being noticed or causing problems. Kaya nga, probably nung sinabi ko na at this point, you are forming crystals. Abay, you could just imagine kung paano po mag-function ng katawan natin. Akala natin, yung nagre-reklamo na may stone sila, kidney stone, sila lang ang literally ang nagpo-form ng stone or crystals. But even if you don't have that so-called stone, grossly na stone formation, you are also, everybody, for as long as we are living, everybody else ay nagkakaroon po ng formation ng crystals. Okay, look at this one. Everyone forms crystals in their urine. So, inulit ko na naman. Even people who never form kidney stones. So, imagine, urine which is produced in the kidneys naturally, so in-emphasize ko dyan, naturally contains substances that promote the development of the so-called crystals. So, ito na nga po. Stone promoters at stone inhibitors. So, tatandaan niyo po yan, ha? When you do sharing, tandaan niyo itong mga calculi, stone crystals, ano yan stone promoters, ano yan stone inhibitors. Okay, just a rundown. Dito, direct your attention on the left side sa so-called stone promoters. Ito yung mga minerals. Halimbawa, calcium. Ito yung halo dun sa stone na mga minerals. So, it could be a calcium, an oxalate, a sodium, phosphorus, uric acid, cysteine. Meron pa ng strobite, yung mga kanyan. Secondary sa mga infection. So, meron po yun. These are the, should I say, substances that promotes stone formation. On the other side, meron tayong inhibitors. Urine also contains natural, again, and-emphasize ko na naman. So talaga, ang ganda ng katawan natin. Ang kailangan na lang natin gawin is to help it, no? Cleansing, nourishment. Okay. It contains protein and other compounds that inhibit. So ito yung nag-stop crystal formation. Kung dun sa kabila, promoter siya, ito inhibitor. So kung balance si promoter at saka si inhibitor, walang problema. Painless excretion of those crystals in our urine. Natural. Okay? Tuloy ang ating good function. So, what are these factors na inhibitor? Total urine volume. The more urine produced, the less concentrated it is and less likely to become super saturated. Ito po yung isa na factor kung bakit nagkakaroon ng kidney stone. Being super saturated. Kumbaga sa kompo, less ang kanyang water than that of the concentrate. Yun, parang nagtimpla ka ng juice. In one glass, you place 5 or 6 tablespoons rather. Tapos nilagyan mo ng water halfway lang. So that's concentration. That is the analogy of this super saturated. What else? There is such thing as macromolecules in the urinary. Is the citrate, yan, maririnig nyo yan. So magnesium, mayaman yung ating mga products dito. Pyrophosphate, phytate, proteins, and other molecules which are collectively again called urinary macromolecules. Again, these macromolecules inhibits the formation of stone. So these inhibitors aid the elimination of crystals before they attach to the kidney and grow into larger stones. Klaruhin ko nga ang statement na to. Why? Halimbawa po, you took something, food, tapos may calcium. Okay? Goes to your gastrointestinal system. Pagdating po, the absorption ay dito po sa intestine natin, sa bituka. Now, an excess of that, pwede pong ilagay ni intestine or ng system natin yung po sa kidney. At dun nga po sa urine eventually. Now, bitin ko, ang example natin dito is calcium. Took in food, calcium, gastrointestinal, pumasok po, inabsorb ni intestine. Ang problem, pag sobra, ibinabato po dun. Inilalagay po sa kidney. Okay, yun ang tandaan nyo ha, kasi dito po tatakbo ang discussion natin because that movement of that, let's say in our example, calcium, from the gastrointestinal system going to the kidney, makikita ninyo ang significance diyan in the formation of stones. Okay ha? Sige, tandaan nyo yan. So, in order for tiny, so not tiny, emphasize dyan, to grow into large stone or larger stones, the urine must first become, na-emphasize natin to kanina, super saturated. So, kailangan kulang sa fluid. Okay. Either due to, anong mga conditions na super saturated ang urine natin? One, na-mention na natin, there is a low urine volume. Okay? Sabi ko nga, 6 tablespoon. Analogy lang naman po yun, ano? Tapos halfway lang na water. Half full na water. Okay. What else? Abnormally high concentration of stone promoters. Yung mga mention natin kanina, it could be the calcium, it could be the oxalate, yung kanina. So, tatandaan niyo po yun, ha? Kasi uulit-ulitin natin yan mamaya para mas ma-appreciate natin paano nga ba nagpo-form ng stone at what we can do about it. Okay, and the good news is, ang laki ng magagawa po natin. Okay. Third, abnormally low concentration of the stone inhibitor. So, yung nagpipigil na, bawal magkaroon ng stone formation. Mababa sila, kulang sila. So, it would favor stone formation. And of course, any combination of the above. That would lead to supersaturation, and such supersaturation can lead further to the so-called tiny crystals accumulating and forming into a larger stone or calculus. Good. Hence, right? However, this balance between stone promoters and inhibitors does not exist for everyone. Why? Kasi meron pong mga factor. Ito na po yung genetic. Yung genetic medyo, yan na yan. That's genetic. But here comes lifestyle. Things that we can modify. So, iba-iba ang lifestyle. So, another factor. So, dito po, medyo may magagawa po tayo. That's the good news. And this would lead to the formation of kidney stones. I happened to see an article. At ito actually a study, no? Ito ng author. So, again, salute to the author. At ang title ng journal niya or study niya, Kidney Stone Mysteries Solved. Or this is the article rather. Why some people are more prone to develop kidney stones. Di ba tayo nagtataka? Ito, sabi po nung doktor ninyo or nag-advise sa inyo, wag masyado sa salty foods. Technically, ito, mahilig sa salty food. Ikaw din, mahilig sa salty food. Pero, ang nagka-stone lang, ikaw lang. Bakit siya hindi? Have you ever wondered kung bakit ganon? Okay, kaya nga lumalabas yung word na stone former. Kung may tao na stone former, ibig sabihin, ang taong ito mas prone to develop stone. Ano ang dahilan? Yan ang gusto natin malaman. Usually, dati, sinasabi lang natin na, kwan lang yan, nasa lahi. Correct po, nasa lahi. Accepted naman yan sa study. But what we want in here, di ba? Sabi ko, different perspective or a deeper perspective, bakit meron? So sabi sa pag-aaral na ito, remember, sahin ko lang muna, most kidney stones form when the urine becomes too concentrated, supersaturation, allowing minerals like calcium to crystallize and stick together. Important dito, ina-emphasize ko na, siningit ko na dito, diet plays a role in the condition. Look at the second one. Not drinking enough water or eating too much salt, which binds to calcium. That's the reason bakit ang salt associated dun sa stone formation because it binds also to calcium. Also increases the risk of stone. So, tandaan niyo po itong paalala na ito kung bakit ano ang mga important factors in the formation of stone. Direct your attention on the lower portion. The urine, the normal urine pH is slightly acidic. Excuse me po, which with usual values of 6 to 7.5, but the normal range, it's a range. Bakit kaya range? So, basahin ko muna, it's 4.5 to 8.0. Why? Because it varies. Okay. First, tignan niyo muna dito. According to one author, ang ating urine pH nagbabari. By the way, the pH has an important role din po sa stone. Important factors sa stone formation. So, look at this one. For a normal urine, 4.6 to 8, nagiging acidic tilts to acidic pH kung ito mga kinakain mo. High protein, acid fruit juice, so mga juice drink, naging more acidic yan. Respiratory and metabolic acidosis, very technical. And look at this one, UTI, urinary tract infection, caused by E. coli, a group of bacteria ito. More on acidic ang naproproduce niya. Interestingly, on the other hand, other side, alkaline naman po, above 7.0. Pag citrus fruit, vegetables, at may condition ka na respiratory and metabolic alkalosis. And look at this one, another UTI, Proteus or Pseudomonas. Pansinin ninyo, on both sides, no, may UTI. Why am I showing you this one? Because itong gusto ko i-correct. I heard one time na ang sabi po, i-alkaline natin ang urine mo kasi hindi ka magkakaroon ng stone o mariresolve ang stone. At this point, gusto ko i-emphasize that there are stones na nagde-develop on an acidic environment, and also it can also develop on an alkaline environment. So both sides pwede po kayong magka-stone. That is why you have to manage your body kasi may balance nga po tayo hinahanap. Higit sa lahat po, titignan po natin ano po ba ang risk factor niyo. Okay? So hindi po basta-basta ganun lang. O, sige, di ba ganun ang concept natin? We tend to favor the so-called alkaline environment. Well, I cannot blame you kasi a portion of us, a great portion of us, nasa more alkaline condition. But remember, there are parts of our body na normally at kailangan nasa acidic environment, just like your stomach. Okay? Pag naging alkaline yan, magkakaproblema po tayo because it thrives on the so-called acidic environment. Okay, next slide. So, question ko. Although nasagot ko na pala ito, nauna pala ang sagot ko kaysa dito sa tanong. Anyway, are you going to form stones if you have an acidic urine, or if you have an alkaline urine, or both? Nasagot ko na po yun, di ba? Again, never say that na sa mga sinishare ninyo kasi baka nagkataon ako, I should say, medtech or health field. Alam na alam nila to, napag-aralan nila to. Okay? So, it can happen to both the side or aspect of the so-called urine pH. Okay, now, balik na tayo. Bakit ang iba po prone to so-called stone? Ito pong sabi ng author, to continue what he said. But genes are partly to be blamed. Yung genes po natin, DNA. Bakit po? Medyo technical, pero gusto ko lang i-share po talaga. I can't help but share this one kasi hinanap ko talaga what part of the gene. Because for us, it's enough to say, well, it's in the genes. Diba? Tama naman. It's in the family line or lineage. Pero what part of that gene ang meron pong variation for us to have higher risk to develop stone? A common genetic variation in the gene is called Claudine 14. Parang pangalan ng ano. So ito yung pinangalan ng author. Sino si Claudine? Which has been linked to a substantial increase in risk, roughly 65%. So na-identify nila ito. And those who have this so-called aberrant or may problem sa activity ng gene na ito called Claudine 14. May Claudine ba tayong kapartner dito? Claudine ang pangalan. Anyway, ay magkakaroon po ng development of stone. So ito po yung may mga tao hindi naman mahilig sa maalat, practically living a healthy life, yet they develop stone. Tataka po. That's why we are pointing at the genes. Okay? So, to continue, just for further education, at saka information for that matter. Sa urine, pag nag-i-examine kami, meron 3 common na sediments, no? Sa normal urine. Meron yan urates, oxalates, at phosphates. Bakit ko minimension yan? Well, the first 2, they thrive in an acidic environment. That's why ang most common na stone ay yung tinatawag natin calcium oxalate. Yan. Remember that, the most common, wala tayong quiz, sorry, pero the most common stone is called calcium oxalate. So obviously, it is a combination, merger of the calcium and the oxalate. And it thrives in what? Anong environment? Acidic or alkaline? Acidic. Very good. The number 3 phosphate, yan naman po ay sa alkaline environment. In fact, may counterpart yan. Kung meron sa acidic na calcium oxalate, there's such thing as calcium phosphates. Usually ito, mga taong ganitong may crystals or stone sa urine nila, usually sa metabolism may problem. Okay? So, why do I have to mention this one? Especially emphasis on the oxalate. Do you remember last time when I was asked, how about yung vitamin C in general? Yeah, vitamin C, whether in the supplement or even in the fruits na kinakain or food that we eat. Okay po yun, walang problema. Okay? It can supply yung pangangailangan ng katawan natin. And in fact, is it okay? Is it safe? I said it's generally safe. Even in PPD natin, makikita natin. Pero, nagbigay po ako ng knowledge po doon, ng sharing po doon rather. Sabi ko po, just be careful kasi there are people who have that tendency to form or at risk to form stone, yung oxalates nga po, kung matatandaan ninyo, with the intake of this vitamin C. Why? Kasi kung po sila prone to that. And maybe we can point that to the genes. Okay, pakita ko po yung next article ko. Vitamin C taken in excess. So, ibig sabihin po dito, meron na po itong paalala sa atin. So, there you go. Basahin ko lang ha. The author said, minimum dietary requirement is 75 milligrams. RDA or recommended daily allowance is 500 milligrams. Whether taken as tablet or capsules or syrups or derived from vitamin C-rich vegetables, yan, sinasabi ko, fruits, oranges, and citrus fruits, may later manifest as oxalates in the urine. Ito pong, ganito po kasimple. When you take those vitamin C, you are forming or it would manifest as oxalates. Now, kung ang tao na yan ay stone former, itong pag-form ng oxalate, itong vitamin C na to, magkaka-problem siya po. Pero if you have that healthy kidney, hindi po kayo stone former, wala pong problema. You will still have oxalate, but it will not form into the so-called stone. Just the crystals. Okay, klaro po yun. Kasi, I encourage you to read the PPD. Nakalagay naman po doon. Ano ang side effect, ano ang possibilities, nakalagay po yun. Okay? Next, remember this one. Since we're gonna look at the risk, a risk factor for all stones, regardless of type, kasi marami po, is dehydration. Repeat, a risk factor for all stones, regardless of type, is dehydration. So, at the back of our mind, makikita natin ako, importante pala, hydrated tayo. Very simple, hydrated tayo. Now, sa isip mo, hydration, uminom pa lang po ako kanina ay inom ko pa lang. But, what you are talking is the so-called intake, no? Yung papasok na fluid. You have to remember, it is about balance also, katawan natin. What about your water loss? Are you aware of that? Are you aware kung paano po na nauubos ang water o nababawasan ng water ang katawan natin? Probably you would say, through your urine, the kidney. Okay, tama po yun. But how about sweating? Okay? Ano pa po? Of course, the bowel movement, elimination, ano din po yun. And even the process of this chemical process, our chemical process, because it is, no? It involves a lot. Breathing. Breathing, yes, you heard. That is a way of, in a way, losing fluids or water sa katawan natin. So, my point in here, if we know that magkakaroon ng stone tayo, ang risk factor dyan, pinaka-common, ay dehydration. So you have to rehydrate yourself, no? Rehydrate yourself. Be watchful na dapat balance po yun. What you put inside, dapat po yung na-lose, dapat balance po yun. Eh, ganun po ang katawan natin. If you sweat a lot, abay, you have to drink. Okay? You have to replace it with water and electrolytes. Now, what are the risk factors for stone formation? Sabi ko nga po, ang huwag kakalimutan natin at ito po ang tatandaan natin. Kaya nga po, kung may dala-dala kayong water, syempre prime juice, maganda po yun. Inom na po kayo. Okay? So, what else? You need to make enough urine to dilute the things that can turn into stones. Kita nyo po, kailangan uminom ka para ma-dilute. The word is dilute in there. If you don't drink enough or sweat too much, your pee may look dark. So, kuha na po yan, sign. Pag umiihi po kayo, tingnan nyo yung color ng ihi ninyo. It should be pale yellow or even clear. Dapat yun ang, I should say, within the normal range. The moment umiba ang color niyan, dark na po, iba po yan. Okay? What else? What you eat play a big role in whether you get one of these stones. Kasi marami nga pong stone. Calcium, uric acid stone, don't forget that. Cystine, strobite, marami po yun. Ang pinaka-common, again, is calcium oxalate. Now, diet. Ang diet po, minention ko na earlier, importante pala yan sa ating sa stone formation. I have 3 points in here, which I would like you to remember. The most common type of kidney stone happens when calcium and oxalate stick together when your kidneys make urine. Okay, ano po bang ibig sabihin po dito? Diba, natatandaan niyo po yung reminder ko sa inyo, you ate something, it has calcium, then the absorption, digestion po dun po sa intestine, any excess, trino-throw off niya dun sa kidney, sa urine, at ang problem pag nag-join force, nag-stick together, ang excess na calcium dun at oxalate, tapos yung mga inhibitors na sinasabi natin ay hindi nag-work, super saturated pang environment, lamang-lamang, eka nga po, it will be a stone. So that's point number 1 about diet. Second, where can you find oxalate? Oxalate is a chemical that's that's in many healthy foods and vegetables. So you have to eat this one kasi nasa healthy foods and vegetables, even in nuts. Kaya lang, again, i-analyze niyo po ang katawan natin. Okay. And third, ito po, may narinig kasi ako dito. So what I did, I really searched for the answer kung ano po ang, what's the proper way, especially among doctors, sa mga nutrition, mga expert natin. Sabi nila, you may have heard that drinking milk can bring on kidney stone. Di ba sabi ko, calcium oxalate, ang milk may calcium. So baka sabihin na, huwag na akong uminom ng mga milk or milk products. Sabi nila, that's not true. If you eat or drink calcium-rich foods like milk and cheese, and foods with oxalate at the same time, so with calcium at oxalate at the same time, it helps your body better handle the oxalate. So, ang sinasabi naman lang dito, huwag naman too much nito or too much ng oxalate. Dapat at least balance because the two tend to bind in the gut, intestine, or the GIT, instead of in the kidneys where stone can form. So ito pong paalala, hindi po, kasi mali po yung impression ng iba. O di, calcium ang problema pala. Hindi na ako mag-drink nito. Hindi po, tingnan niyo po muna ang mechanism, ang relasyon ng calcium at oxalate. Again, this author also said, always take the advice of the doctor kung ano ang ma-advise niya regarding your diet. So what else? Sodium. Okay, itong sodium. Sabi na po natin that it can raise your chances of getting several types of kidney stones. So watch out for those salty snacks. Ako lalo na ngayon naka-quarantine. We love to get to eat something na instant. Okay? So yun. What else? Animal protein. So anong klaseng stone na makukuha natin dito? Madi-develop natin. So tingnan natin. Another kind of kidney stone forms when your pee is too acidic. Okay. The mga red meat, shellfish can make uric acid in your body rise. This can collect in the joints. So ito yung masakit. Sakit na nga yung joints and can cause gout. Pwede rin po yung uric acid pumunta sa kidney at mag-form pa ng stone. Okay? More importantly, animal protein raises your urine calcium. Tandaan nyo na naman si calcium. And lowers the citrate. Ito naman si citrate. This is a stone inhibitor. So, kung mataas si calcium, stone promoter, mas mababa si stone inhibitor, si citrate, ano ang magiging equivalent nun? obviously, you will form stone. So what else? Ano pa po ba? Time and time again, sinasabi, even obesity is almost twice as likely to get a kidney stone. Okay. Gut problems. Kung may problema po sa GIT. Kaya kanina in-emphasize ko, sana absorb itong, for example, yung sinabi kong calcium. Why? Because if you have problem, in fact, stones are the most common kidney problem in people with inflammatory bowel disease like the Crohn's or the ulcerative colitis. Kasi itong bowel problem can give you diarrhea or problem in the absorption. Okay? So you make less pee, your body may absorb extra oxalate from the intestine, so more gets in your urine. So ito po ang nagiging problem. Again, it's all about balance. So kung may problem po mismo sa GIT, it affects the other organ. Then how do we avoid kidney stones? Siyempre, rule talaga yan, drink plenty of water. Since ang pinaka-common denominator to develop stone ay supersaturation, di ba? Yung na-discuss natin. Tingnan niyo po yung advice. 2 liters, at least 2 liters of urine a day, which is roughly 8 standard ounce of cups, no? Pwede rin po, if you have citrus beverages like lemonade and orange juice, and tinignan ko po ito ha, even the prime juice, yung mangosteen, because what does it contain? Citrate or citric acid in these beverages help block stone formation. Okay, so ano po ang ating management sa mga partners natin na may na stone former, kaya to prevent stone or my stone? Obviously, hydrate, and our PJ or prime juice can help. O yun, may basis na kayo. Okay, alam na natin, hindi lang yung basta inumin mo lang ito kasi nakita ko na gumaling siya. Well, it is good. Ako kasi, I want basis. I want to see kung asan po yun. Anong basihan? At ito po ang basihan. So, very confident tayo. Please drink this one. Gagaling po kayo. Or mag-i-improve po kayo. A risk factor for all stones, regardless of type, is, again, dehydration. Okay, so therefore, hydrate yourself. Very, very common. Get the calcium you need. Kasi, di ba, ano ang kinorek natin? Sabi dito, dahil since calcium, mostly calcium daw, or majority ay calcium ang kanyang component na dun sa stone, ang sabi, wag daw kayo mag-take ng calcium, which is wrong. The experts are really advising na ito ang dapat ginagawa natin. In fact, getting too little calcium in your diet can cause, again, anong effect sa oxalate level. Pag mataas ang oxalate level, anong ending? Kidney stone na naman. So, you must take calcium according to your age. Meron yan, no? Basis. In-include ko lang po ito kasi excited ako. Of course, recommendation dito, the calcium. And in order to help absorb the calcium, excited ako kay vitamin D. Bakit kaya ako excited? Nako, malalaman nyo yan. I don't have the liberty to tell you, but this vitamin D will help us. Hindi lang to prevent, of course, indirectly prevent the formation of stone, but also even in our immune system. Nako, biting ko muna kayo. Reduce also your sodium. In fact, if you reduce it to 1,500 milligrams, it's not only helping you not to develop stone, but also it is good for your blood pressure and heart. And na-discuss na natin na limit animal protein because it can boost the level of uric acid. Pati pala beer, ha? Tandaan niyo kasama yan. A high protein diet also reduces level of citrate. The good citrate, pag mababa, anong magdo-dominate? Stone formation. So, ang advice nila, if you're prone to stone, ulitin ko, if you're prone to stones, limit your daily meat intake to a quantity that is no bigger than a pack of playing cards. Basta ang alam ko na card, ganito lang na kalita. Ewan ko yung card, baka ganun, ha? Playing cards. Baka naman yung card na, how do you call that? Sa attendance, iba po yun, ha? Playing card. Sabi nga nung isa, I'm playing with it, kaya playing card ang tawag dito. Okay. O kaya naman yung mga cardboard, iba yun. Now, that advice is also heart-healthy portion. Okay. Avoid stone-forming foods. Naku, baka malungkot po yung iba dito. beets, chocolate, spinach, rhubarb, tea, and most nuts are rich in oxalate, and colas are rich in phosphate, both of which can contribute to kidney stone. So, pwedeng maging calcium oxalate or pwedeng maging calcium phosphate. Okay, with that, maraming salamat ulit po. I think I'll just entertain a very few questions lang po kasi I asked already your permission, nag-inform na po ako. Meron akong second din po na meeting. Ano? Parang ganito din po. Same din po sa group po natin. Yes. At pag meron po kayong, you can invite me para mag-share din po anong plans ng LBNA or mga health concerns. You can invite me. It's okay po. It's an honor. So, kagaya nito, after nito, meron din po ako sa isang grupo. Siyempre, ang tawag po dun sa grupo nila, Golden Aces, headed by Janice. Magaling po yun. So, basahin ko lang few questions. Then I'm going to probably end. Okay. So, sabi ni Charis Alex Diamond. Yes po, Doc. Tama po talaga kayo dyan. Thank you, Charis. Buena. Ay, yes po, proven na nakaka-break yun ng kidneys ng ating prices para mailabas through yun. Yes, basta hydration po talaga. Ako, hydration plus. Palagi po, ang gusto ko po? Cleansing. Always. Okay, thank you. Hello, Carlo Remoto. Hi. Thank you din po, Annabel Mantile, Frankie M. Kazan. Thank you din po, Elma Sornes. Dami pong learning. Thank you po. Uy, damo nga salamat, Doc Rick. Damo na salamat. Rami Azura. Yes, ganda ng topic na po. Ang sarap sa puso pag nakarinig po ako ng ganitong comment. Sabi ni Teres Jumowad, as I've said, pag ang mga topics ko every time na nag-discuss ako, sa totoo lang pinagdadasal ko ano tayong magandang topic na every time I talk, every time I do share, magkakaroon ng good impact. No? Yun po ang akin. So last time yung sleep, ito rin po. Kasi alam ko marami po ito Statistics wise, marami po. At marami din po kayong na-encounter na cases. Thank you po. Ito. Apleomidae. Yun po. As I've said, since it is hydration, never forget yung prime juice. Fluid. Very important po yun. Tapos sabay mo na yung cleansing. Yan. Ang dami na naman. Salamat po. Si Romeo Asierto. Thank you very much. Ang dami na naman natutunan, Coach. Grabe. I love this training. Salamat din po. Thank you po, Doc Rick. Thank you po, Teres. Hi. Yes po. Joan Amistoso. A whisper out. Matang Pusa Superior International. Hi, Elma. Sabi ni Elma. Salamat po. Oryam Kadusali Kabusag. Ang tanong mo, Doc, ano po mga bawal kainin sa my kidney po? Maybe kidney stone. Okay. Yung na-mention ko po kanina, yung mga most common, una kong sasabihin, the most common is calcium oxalate or calcium stone. No? That is the most common. I'm not saying na yun ang sakit po, but the most common ay yun po. At pag ganun po, isa sa ina-advise po doon, number one, is really to limit your sodium or salt. Isa yun. Okay? Tapos, again, hydration. Mag-hydrate po kayo. Okay? Very good. Okay. Princess Lay Mateo. Ask ko lang po, yung 211 na pag-intake ng Ultimacy. Very good question to. I like this one. Ay tama lang po sa pangangailan ng katawan natin. Salamat po. Para sa akin, when you say RDA, meron kasing RDA, meron kung anong pinaka-minimum, ano ang pwede na maximum, meron po yun. Ako, I would always advise, ano ba ang kailangan ng katawan mo? Okay? Kung yan, just a daily intake, 1 or 2, para sa akin, okay na po. Okay? Can you go higher? Yes, pwede po. Basta wala lang pong contraindication sa katawan ninyo. Okay? Mararamdaman naman po ninyo yun. Okay? And we follow kung ano recommended na expert. Okay? Thank you, Doc. From the Royal Emperor, sabi ni Doc Nini Basilan. Daming natutunan daw, sabi ni Helen Miranda. Thank you. Grabe, ang topic sobrang ganda. Thank you po. Leo Midal. Lalo na po sa sa ating anniversary. I'll be talking about the kung ano na po ang what we should know more or perspective natin ngayon po sa pandemic infection. Yung mga isi-share ako doon and I hope na may parating sa lahat, no? Para we can win against this disease. Okay? Thank you po. Sabi ni dami natutunan. Sabi ni Crosby Pausta. Thank you din. Just thank you po. Thank you, Charis Diamond. Maraming salamat po sa mga good learnings. Thank you. I like the word good. Na-share niyo po sa aming lahat, Doc. Keep safe, protected, and God bless us all po. Very good. Yes, sabi ni Helen. Pati foods din po, i-limit din. Yes. Indirectly, tama po yun. Lalo na po pag ang topic po, doon na po tayo sa gallbladder stone. Di ito mag-play ito. Okay? Thank you, Doc. Play Pastor. Thank you. Ano ito? Benson Torrechiva. Good morning, Doc. May kunting katanungan po ako in past years ago, yung nararamdaman ko na parang biglang tinutusok sa dibdib. Anong magandang okay. Denison. Ito this is an online discussion, no? Pero gusto ko sana magkaroon ng discussion about chest pain. Okay? Kasi may mga differential diagnosis yan. There are diagnoses na hindi kagad yung heart attack. Tandaan nyo, hindi kagad heart attack yan. So, ba? Parang low bat na ako. Naka-unplug kasi. Anyway, what are the other causes that mimics? Ibig sabihin, akala natin heart problem na. Okay? One is the so-called costochondritis. We think of costochondritis. Ano yun? Ito yung dito sa joints po, may inflammation. Paano po ang nararamdaman ng isang tao? Sabi niyo parang tutusok-tusok ka na. Ito po yung nakaupo ka, especially those who yung medyo hindi maganda ang upo po, medyo slouchy. And all of a sudden, you change position, you stand up, all of a sudden, ma-feel mo yan. Akala mo pinusok ka. Akala ng iba may heart attack. Gandang topic yan. Okay? Sige, thank you for that now. Thank you po, Doc. Sabi niya, Princess. For an 8-year-old, I go with, just half of it lang ang bibigay ko po. Again, anong paalala ko, yung G6PD, ha? The deficiency or problem in the enzyme. Yung sinasabi kong nakakause ng, or it would lead to anemia, especially on the younger ones. Yan lang naman mga precaution ko. Okay? Progina Alcacid, Doc, tanong lang sa time biglang sumakit puso, parang tinusok maybe 1 minuto ba? Sana hindi love life itong kinukonsulta nyo. Ibang expert natin dito. Okay. Anyway, similar with nung nauna kong question, ito po yung sinasabi kong costochondritis. Really, based on experience at saka anecdotes, talagang sinasabi nila, akala nila may heart attack. No? It would stop you from moving, talagang babagsak ka at sa sobrang sakit. But when you rest, when you lay down, nawawala ang sakit. In fact, that is a big difference dun sa heart, the real heart attack. Because even if you rest, even if you change position, the pain is still there. And it goes, it is becoming worse. Kaya yan ang pinag-iba. Costochondritis, self-limiting po yun. Nag-rest ka lang, sakto na position, pag ganun mo, okay na po. Okay? But it is painful. Okay. Hi up, Catherine Makuha. Konti na lang po kasi dito po, medyo, I think I have 5%. Kasi in-unplug ko po lahat, no? I had these lights, nagka-problem po tayo sa light, kaya in-unplug ko. Okay, so, Catherine Makuha, hi. Okay, Sornes. Doc, take ko po yung kapatid ko ng crypto, may UTI po siya, ganyan po, okay na po siya. Wow, very good, very good. Oh. Again, ako palagi ko, I always respect po the medical field. The practice po natin dito, sinasabi ko rin po sa LVNA team, we are complementary. We do complementary medicine. We never say, oh, yung sinabi ng doktor mo, tanggalin mo yan, yung antibiotics, tanggalin. No, it's a big no-no. As far as I'm concerned, complementary po tayo. Itong ginawa niyo po na crypto, very good po yun. Because you help your body. You help it nourish your body. Tapos po, part din po ng cleansing. Kaya naging effective po, nag-improve po, at gumaling nga po, sabi nga po. Very good. Sige. Ay, sabi ng aking apply, nanonood daw siya. Wow. Thank you. Tapos, syempre yung last na dito, Ab Catherine Makua. Salamat po. I think that's it na. Maraming salamat po. I'm very happy. Ang dami pong nag-attend na naman. And hopefully, ang dami pong nagkaroon ng good impact at learning ngayon. Okay? Hoping to see you again next time. Please stay healthy, stay safe, follow protocols. At higit sa lahat po, always honor God. To God be the glory. Okay? To God be the glory. Salamat po. God bless po sa inyo.